flowers that we can all really enjoy.
Yeah,
so that's
and
a ingenious idea.
in the products like, agarbatti and dhoop, so we have this concept in our tradition, like we call Tera Tujhko Arpan. So whatever was, offered to the gods, the flowers, we are converting something that you can again give back to the god. So that is one thing. And we are not just stopping there. We are trying to come up with products which eventually can give you solutions to other things that are non-sustainable. For example, here I have Flora foam, as we call it. It is an alternative to styrofoam, also known as thermocol. So this can be utilized as a biodegradable and sustainable alternative to any sort of packaging. And here...
So just to put this in perspective, so thermocol is not biodegradable.
Thermocol is not at all biodegradable.
It will end up in landfills.
Yeah, landfills, ocean debris, and it is actually one of the 5th biggest pollutant on Earth. It is it comes under the category of non-recyclable plastic. And either you burn it and it turns into, the black smoke and vanishes into thin air, adding up to the air pollution in a huge amount.
And all of us on our Amazon, Flipkarts, ordering stuff all the time, it comes with tons of plastic, tons of thermocol as well, which of course companies are also trying to do their best to avoid. But what you've given them is an alternative made out of waste flowers.
Yeah, so if you just break it, this can be made in any shape. This is like a corner. You can place all 4 corners and you can place any product into it. If you just break it, you will find a bunch of flower petals as well as some little amount of agri-waste like straw and all inside it. So this is bound together with a simple biological process by allowing some microbes to grow on the waste.
And this is completely biodegradable. This can just go back.
This is completely biodegradable. If you put it in soil, it will vanish off into the soil in merely 90 days.
I know, Nachiket, you have tons more to speak because you guys are not just stopping at products and not just stopping at Flora foam. There is a feather also that I know, but I'll come to that in a bit. Let me bring in the other panelists as well. Let me go to Kaushik. Now, Kaushik is the co-founder and CEO of Kheyti. And Kaushik, when I met him, gave me this iconic line which hasn't left my mind. He believes his idea in life is that every farmer should be a Lakpati farmer, right? And this idea really blew my mind. I was like, okay, how are you going to ensure this? So of course, Kaushik, your story, I want you to tell in your way. You had one meeting with a very small farmer, and that changed your life. Tell us how.
Thank you so much. First of all, I feel a little bit out of place. 2 people from Kanpur, 1 from Lucknow. I'm the only one representing South India here, at least from Telangana. But yeah, so I grew up in Hyderabad in Telangana, and I was a city kid. I didn't know anything about farming. I did all the things that you were supposed to do. I studied math, then I went to IIT, then I got a job in consulting and investment banking. But then I had sort of a quarter-life crisis, which brought me to this world of agriculture and rural India. So before I started Kheyti, I probably spent 5 years, I would say, call it apprenticing with the problem, which is really understanding agriculture and rural India in an earlier company, where I got to travel about 14 states of India, and I probably visited thousands of villages. I traveled about 200 days a year. And that was really my education. It was not IIT, it was not college, it was not maths. During that time, in 2015, I met a farmer called Reshma. So Reshma is a small farmer in a village called Depalli in Telangana. It's about 2 hours away from the Hyderabad airport. Reshma is this force of nature. She's someone who always has positivity, enthusiasm, and she has a smile on her face. And I really got to know her and her family, right? But as I got to know more and more about her livelihood, I realized that her reality did not match her positivity. The year that we met Reshma, half of her tomato crop was wiped out by 1 pest attack. The year before that, she told me that 1 unseasonal rain, hailstorm, the same way that it happened this year as well, wiped out her pepper crop. For 6 months in a year, she was not growing anything in her land because water table were drying up, it was too hot. So she was going to Hyderabad to do odd jobs to make ends meet. So simply put, for Reshma, hard work didn't equal success. And when I was growing up, I was told if you work hard and if you have a positive attitude, you succeed. And that's what we set out to change at Kheyti. And that's what our sort of solution does. Our solution is called the greenhouse in a box. It helps farmers like Reshma protect their crops from heat, rain, pests, and hail, increase their incomes by growing high-value vegetables, but also makes their farming more sustainable long-term by using much lesser water, fertilizer, and pesticide.
Yeah. But Kaushik, greenhouse, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering right now, is not a new concept. It's something that government also subsidizes. They bring it out also, and they give it out to farmers as well. What is it that you're doing different here?
Right. So yeah, greenhouses have been around for a long time, decades, and there's some annals which says for centuries, there's some version of this, right? But this technology hasn't really worked for the Indian small and marginal farmers. And in India, there are 100 million small and marginal farmers who own less than 5 acres of land. So 86% of our farmers are those, and they have not had access to this technology. So our main job is to make it work for those farmers, and we do that through 3 ways. One is we've designed a greenhouse which is low cost and affordable. So it costs about 85% lower than regular greenhouses, and it starts small. It starts at 1/10 an acre, which means a small farmer can think of investing in that. We also made a greenhouse for Indian vegetables. Greenhouses were used to be for fancy vegetables and export quality vegetables, but our greenhouse works for what the Indian farmer grows. And the third is most importantly that if you give a technology to farmers, and we've done this in India through subsidization, it doesn't really succeed because farmers sometimes lack the access to seeds, markets, and advice and knowledge. So when we say greenhouse in the box, it's a package. So whatever the farmer needs to succeed and get the money in their bank account, we do that. So we provide training, advisory, input linkages, and also help them connect to the market so that they get their money back.
That's interesting because you're saying we're not just going to help you sustainably grow your stuff, but we're going to help you take it to the market.
Yes.
We're going to help you ensure that it keeps happening season after season, right? That's really interesting. Let me bring in Ratnesh to the conversation now. Now, Ratnesh comes from Koshish. Ratnesh is trying to do also something very interesting. If you'll see, there is a recurring theme over here on this panel. Ratnesh picks up animal droppings, a waste, almost prevalent anywhere the minute you move out of the metros in India, and converts that into biogas. Now, Ratnesh, again, biogas has been there for a while. My question really is, what are you doing different that is helping farmers actually, utilize the value of it? Biogas is something we all read in our books in school, right? It's been around for so long, but it's such a mystery that we've not managed to use it as a resource.
Thank you. Namaskar, aap sabhi ko. So, biogas is not a new thing in India, not in the world. But still, if you see on the ground, biogas plants are not running. So there is some issue. People say that there is no rocket science in the biogas system, biogas technology. But yes, science is there. There is no rocket science, but science is there. So if science is there, so understanding of the science and technology is important. That's why I was at IIT Delhi. I've done my research there, then worked there. Then I decided to move as an entrepreneur. So on the ground reality is that people are not able to accept this technology because they say that ye to chalega nahi, kuch naya bataiye. So what we do that we have a very good, very efficient and technically fit team which is working on the ground, and we work and we take challenges that if there is any plant which is not working, give that to us. We will make it working. It can be of any plant. So we are taking that challenge. Also, we are working on any type of organic waste. Any organic waste. It could be animal waste, it could be food waste, vegetable waste.
So the mantra is turning waste into energy.
Yes.
Doing it efficiently and doing it in a way that is actually cost effective for these people, right?
Yes.
How do you ensure that? And how you were able to train? Because it's not about establishing a plant, it's about what keeps it running through the year then.
Yes. So cost effective does not mean that the input cost is going to be down, then this is cost effective. What we are doing that to make these plants more efficient. If these plants are more efficient, then if you think about the break-even time, the turnaround time, that comes down. So every plant, if that is working properly, that is more efficient, and also we are providing the best services, after-sales services, because with every plant we are giving around 10 years warranty to everyone. So we are providing the after-sales services to them. So we are ensuring the efficient working of the plant.
हमें ये बताने की कोशिश करिए कि जो मोटा लोगों को समझ में आता है, राइट, कि आपने कितने वेस्ट से कितनी एनर्जी क्रिएट करी और वो कितने घरों को लाइट करती है.
So every waste have different behavior, different efficiency in the form of biogas production. अगर हम animal waste की बात करें, the cow dung with 25 kg of cow dung waste will generate around 2 units of electricity. So if a household have 3-4 cattle with them, so that will produce around 40 to 50 kg of cow dung. That 40-50 kg of cow dung can generate around 4 units of electricity, and if you want to use that for cooking, that can produce around 800 to 900 gram of gas equivalent to LPG, which is around 2 cylinders of LPG on monthly basis. So one household who have 3-4 cattle with them, they can survive on this biogas for their LPG requirements. In addition to that, they can use the biofertilizer produced from this plant on their agriculture land, which is having a great nutrient value that is good for the humus, for the increasing the carbon content of the soil.
Yeah. So, see, what we're really getting to understand from stories like you is that there are solutions, some very ingenious ones available everywhere. The question then really is, and you know, maybe Kaushik, you can take that. How do we scale it up then? That's the real challenge. The question is not that there aren't alternatives available. The government knows it. You guys are putting in all your mind, blood, sweat to ensure that this really happens. What is it that you need now to scale it up, bring it up to a level that we see actual impact?
So there's 2 hurdles towards making an innovation work, right? The first hurdle is what we've heard from everybody is making the innovation work at a small scale. First is, it's never existed. Greenhouses didn't exist for small farmers. Biogas plants weren't cost efficient enough, or nobody even thought about, converting floral waste into, so many great products, and leather never existed. But I think that's what startups, have done in terms of breaking that barrier. But now I think when we look at the size of the problem, if you take any of these problems we're working on, if you look at agriculture, if you want to make agriculture sustainable, there are 100 million small farmers, and we work with a few thousand today. We want to work with, our ambition is to work with 1 million, but even then there is 100 more million of farmers to be supported. The only way to do that is through collective action, which means that it has to be a multi-pronged approach where government, corporations, startups, and even community organizations have to come together. So today, an example of that is that in Jharkhand, we work with a community organization, a farmer producer organization, which brings in farmers. We work with a NGO sector organization, which gives subsidy to farmers. We are now thinking of working with the government to scale that program up. But we're also working with corporations, market players who buy produce from our farmers, and input players who supply inputs to our farmers to also come together. So only way we can scale this up is by creating these holistic partnerships, which can then help us really create a industry for each of these. We need an industry for each of these. We need an industry for circular economy. We need an industry for biogas. We need an industry for greenhouses.
Yeah, and I must say that though we keep looking at the government for solutions, we must ask some hard questions of the corporate sector as well. And Nachiket, I want to come to you, my last question really at this point, that oftentimes it is not said, but you would hear and you would perhaps get an understanding that CSR activities, etc., often done because the question of profitability versus sustainability comes in. Do you feel if somewhere you guys can crack that, that's really the magic mantra, that's where this entire thing will explode?
Yes, I think in our case, I can proudly say that we have already been able to crack that. Like all these products I'm talking about here, I could not talk about leather earlier. He is an alternative to leather made from flower waste. It is all sustainable. It is animal free. So this product we can provide to the customer in a cost that is at par with the current conventional leather. So you are getting sustainability at a reasonable costing or affordability. I don't think that should be a question.
Leather made out of flower waste. That's the first I'm seeing of it. Is that a little clutch bag that I see next to you?
Yes, this is just a prototype product that we tried to create.
That's the future, guys. That's what we're really talking about. And good luck to all of you, to everything that you're doing right now. And like I said, there are so many solutions out there. We just got to understand how to match those synergies and make it work at a large scale. Thank you all so very much. Huge round of applause for all these lovely gentlemen who are doing such fantastic work. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Sonal. In fact, I have an eye on that clutch, so maybe I will ask him for details of that later. It looks very attractive. But Sonal, I'm going to request you to present mementos to all of the three speakers as a token of our appreciation. A huge round of applause. These are the change makers making huge impact in the field of environment and sustainability. Can we hear it for them? Thank you, Sonal, for that wonderful discussion. Moving on, I have to ask you, how many of you have watched Pathan? How many of you are planning to watch Pathan? It's now on OTT. So will you watch it over the next few days? Okay, how many Shah Rukh Khan fans in the house? Okay. How many Deepika Padukone fans in the house? How many John Abraham fans in the house? Okay, we don't have them, but we have someone who successfully made them work together to produce the